Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to tonight's workshop, letting go of toxic shame, recovering from narcissistic and emotional abuse. So the agenda, we're going to look at what toxic shame is, how it can affect our relationships, how to identify a narcissistic person, what is narcissism, what creates a narcissist, shame-based feelings, and then we're going to have a hypnosis session. And then we're going to talk about what you can do next. I'll be talking about an upcoming inner child program that I have starting soon. So stick around to find out more about that. Okay, so a question. Let me know in the chat box, what does toxic shame mean to you? No true idea, low self-confidence, made to feel unvalued, feeling like you're in the wrong, feeling humiliated by everything, embarrassment, not being able to recommend the good things about yourself, unhealthy levels of guilt and self-condemnation, thinking everything you do is wrong, negative feelings and self-image, feelings of wanting to hide. Yep. Okay, so we all need shame. Shame is a healthy emotion. And Erik Erikson said that shame is part of psychosocial development. In the first stage of our development, we needed shame so that we could build trust. And then as we started to be able to move around, we needed healthy shame. Shame stopped us from venturing too far from our caregivers before we were ready. And as adults, shame helps us function in society. It helps us to not do things that are socially irresponsible. So if we had good enough parents who were predictable and made us feel secure, we learned to develop a state of trust, and we were able to develop healthy shame. Toxic shame is when parents or teachers criticized us rather than poor behavior choices that we made. So they planted the seed of toxic shame. So when we identify with shame-based models, abandonment trauma, negative memories, this creates toxic shame. Likewise, if you're suffering from a lot of narcissistic abuse, you're being put down a lot, everything you do is criticized, the way you feel is being criticized, you're going to be shamed out of your emotions and feelings. You're going to be shamed out of having an opinion, having your own thoughts. So when we grow up with toxic shame, It can cause us to split, and it can make us feel ashamed when we need help, when we feel angry, assertive, sad, fearful, sexual, or even if we feel happy. We become cut off from vital parts of ourselves, and these disowned parts become sub-personalities that we may project out onto others. So we need to accept these parts to become whole. We need to understand that no one is broken. Every part of us has value, and it needs to be accepted. Now, anger is a very bad emotion to be shamed out of, because it enables us to protect our boundaries, to assert ourselves. And if we're shamed out of feeling angry, we have very porous boundaries, and it makes us more open to abuse, more open to taking on more and more toxic shame. So how does toxic shame affect you? Let me know in the chat box. You comply with people out of fear, makes you believe you're bad, insecure, overthinking, you avoid people, feel like you don't matter, isolate yourself, self-doubt, yeah, don't feel good enough, low confidence, over-compliance, yep, guilt for facilitating the narcissist and unleashing her on your innocent family, feel hopeless, indecisive, yep. Okay, so everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. Parents who abuse their children were typically abused the same way themselves, and they never resolved the shame they internalized. So this is known as reenactment. What we don't heal, we either find other people to repeat on us, or we reenact it on others. So shame as a healthy human emotion can be transformed into a state of being until it takes over your whole identity. And that comes from John Bradshaw. So when we suffer shame, we can either act it out and become narcissistic and abusive ourselves, or we can act it in. We can develop addictions. We can turn to drugs and addictive behaviours. So Bradshaw said that shame is the effect which is the source of many complex and disturbing inner states. Bradshaw said shame and toxic shame can cause depression, alienation, self-doubt, isolating ourselves, loneliness, paranoid and schizoid phenomena, compulsive disorders, splitting, as I said, splitting and projecting our toxic shame onto others, perfectionism. Again, perfectionism, many people develop perfectionism when they grow up in dysfunctional families. They can become perfectionists as a way to matter within the family unit, and they can also become perfectionists as a way to avoid abuse. it can cause us to develop a deep sense of inferiority, inadequacy, or failure. It can lead to borderline personality disorder and disorders of narcissism. And that's from, as I said, John Bradshaw. So do you act in? Let me know in the chat box if you act in and how you act in. Do you maybe have addictions or compulsive behaviors? Let me know in the chat. Yep. Yep, that's good point, Sani. Thank you for sharing. Drug addiction, poor sexual boundaries, depression, addicted to food, so emotional eating, codependent, pulling your hair out, withdrawal, depression. Yep. Yep, clingy and codependent, anxiety. Yep. So to cope with toxic shame, we need to alienate it from ourselves. So when we feel these emotions, we experience toxic shame, we need to distance ourselves from it. So as I said previously, anger is a very dangerous emotion to alienate yourself from, because without it, you're going to take on more and more toxic shame. You're going to take on more and more abuse, and you're going to become, in the case of narcissism, you're going to become an object of contempt to yourself, and then you're going to project these alienated parts onto others, and they can cause splitting, as I said previously, and dissociation. Yep. So toxic shame can make us paranoid. It can make us expect to be betrayed and humiliated the way that we've been betrayed and humiliated in the past. So we're projecting past experiences onto current experiences. So a paranoid person has to project their own sense of deficiency elsewhere. And Scott M. Peck said, a neurotic person assumes too much responsibility, and the person with a character disorder would be assuming not enough. So when a neurotic person is in conflict with the world, they automatically assume they are at fault. And when someone with character disorders, so when he says this, talking about psychopaths, sociopaths, people with MPD, when they're in conflict with the world, they automatically assume the world is at fault. Carl Jung said, all neuroses is an attempt to avoid genuine suffering. So narcissism. We all have narcissistic traits. A little narcissism is healthy. A child, for example, up until the age of 3, has no sense of self. Everything. Yep, self-awareness, absolutely. Everything they see around them is then pushed out, and they don't differentiate themselves from their mother. There is no we. So sorry, they're a we before they become an I. So they have zero boundaries. And then as they grow up, around the age of 3, they start becoming able to move out on their own. And as I say, in this stage, in the toddler stage, they need the shame because it stops them from running off and going too far from their caregivers. But a narcissist is the ultimate codependent. So they've taken on so much toxic shame that they've had to create a false self, a mask. And they maintain this mask by looking for constant narcissistic supply. So they may look for admiration, they may look to bully, demean, intimidate, or belittle other people. They may manipulate and exploit people without feeling any guilt or shame. They're going to have a grandiose sense of self-importance, and grandiosity is caused by the will being disabled through shaming of the emotions. As I said, they're not going to see it as though they're at fault. They're going to see it as though the world is at fault, that other people are at fault. Again, this can come from growing up in a toxic environment. When we suffer a lot of abuse in childhood, we learned helplessness, and we take on the belief that we're not responsible for anything that happens to us. So they take on a mentality whereby they are the victim, and everyone else is to blame for all their problems, and everyone else is there for them to use so that they can sustain their mask and keep the narcissistic supply coming. Yep, it can come from being bullied, absolutely. CPTSD, complex PTSD, can come from constant and ongoing abuse from which there is no escape. So unlike PTSD, where there's a one-off event, CPTSD is developed over time. This can come from being in a narcissistic relationship. It can come from being raised in a dysfunctional family. It can come from being bullied. It can come from living with a narcissist for several years. Yeah. It's estimated that around 80% of people suffer with CPTSD. So if we don't learn from the past, we're going to reenact it. If we don't resolve our trauma, we're either going to inflict it on others or find new people to inflict it on us. And to prevent reenactment, we need to accept ourselves fully. We need to reintegrate our emotions and our projected parts. So, did you grow up with narcissism? Let me know in the chat box. Spelled narcissism wrong there, just realised. Yes, yep. You didn't, but you were married to one for 18 years. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So when we grow up with narcissism, we're all born with equal access to the four different trauma responses. So there's the fight trauma response, which enables us to either fight or protect our boundaries. There's the flight trauma response, which we can, run away. There's the freeze trauma response, which we all move into whenever we're faced with any kind of danger. Gives us time to evaluate the situation. And then there's the fawn trauma response. So a child can't fight because they're too small. They can't run away because they're reliant on their parents. Freezing isn't going to do them any good. So they generally learn to overdevelop the fawn response, and this causes codependency, and this can make us very susceptible to meeting narcissists later in life. And we're going to be looking to reproduce childhood trauma so that we can heal it. This is known as relationships of deprivation. So we're going to be looking to reproduce the worst emotional traits of our parents, and we're going to repeatedly have narcissistic and abusive relationships. So do you find yourself repeatedly in narcissistic relationships? Let me know in the chat box. Yep. 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 So again, when we grow up with narcissism, we are going to internalize that abuse. We're going to internalize the abuser. We're going to create an inner critic, which can lead to us being very hard on ourselves, calling ourselves names, and abusive to ourselves. Yeah. Okay, so I have a 4-week group coaching program starting on the 1st of July. It's going to entail 4 group coaching sessions weekly. All the sessions are going to be recorded. I'm going to offer discounted one-to-one sessions. I've created a Facebook group that people can join. We're going to have weekly exercises and a workbook. And on the program, we're going to be looking at reintegrating all ages of the inner child, from infant to adolescent. By doing this, we can reduce anxiety, increase self-esteem and confidence, learn to control our impulses and reconnect with our emotions. We're also going to be able to overcome those relationships of deprivation that I mentioned earlier. So the usual price of the 4-week program is going to be $199. Special price for anyone that's on this call today, they can get it for £59. And if you're interested in that, you can go to my website and book a free session there. Okay, so this is some feedback from people that have done these people have done the 8-week program. So some feedback on that. as I said, if you're interested in that, you can book a call. So who's interested in trying some hypnosis? Let me know in the chat box. Yep. Okay. Have you ever experienced hypnosis before? Let me know in the chat box if you've ever experienced hypnosis before. Meditation, yep. Yes. Excellent. So on my workshops, yep. Excellent. Okay, so hypnosis is a perfectly natural state that we all experience several times during the course of a day. It's not something that's done to you. It's something that's done with you. So if you just listen to the sound of my voice and go along with my instructions, you'll have no problem going into hypnosis. So first of all, I'd like to do some exercises to show you the power of your mind. So what I'd like you to do is just take your hands and place them together like that, like you're praying, and just notice that all your fingers and your hands are the same size. And then put your hands down, take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, I'd like you to just imagine that left hand growing. Just imagine the fingers on your left hand becoming just a little bit longer. Just imagine that hand just growing just a little bit. Maybe you can get a sense of that hand growing slightly. Just imagine what it would feel like if that hand was growing just a little bit more. Those fingers getting just a little bit longer. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the present, put your hands back together like that. And just notice if the fingers on your left hand are any longer than your right hand. Notice if your left hand is any bigger than your right hand. And if it is, let me know in the chat box. Yes. Yes, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Not sure. Some of you say no, some of you say yes. Okay, so one of the benefits of hypnosis is it helps us to visualize. And so by visualizing things, we can start to, it's actually been proven that we can start to create new neural pathways in the brain. And the more we visualize, the stronger those neural pathways become. And the more we're able to become the person we want to be. So if you want to, feel more confident, have more self-esteem, by visualizing yourself as more confident with more self-esteem, you're going to start to, as I say, create those changes and become that person. So another exercise, I'd like you to put your hands out in front of you like so, and turn your left hand with your palm facing up. So your left hand is facing up, your right hand is facing down. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine that in your left hand we've placed some heavy books. And those books are weighing down on that left hand, and that left hand is drifting lower and lower. To your right hand, we've tied some heavy helium balloons, and those helium balloons are drifting up, taking your right hand with it. So your right hand is rising higher, your left hand is falling lower. Just imagine that happening now. Just imagine that happening. Heavy books in the left hand and helium balloons tied to your right. And then leaving your hands where they are, open your eyes and just notice any changes there. If you notice the change there, let me know in the chat box. Yep. 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 Not much. No. Most of you said yes. A couple of you said no. Okay. So, another exercise we can do is I'd like you to imagine that you're walking into your kitchen. So take a deep breath. When you breathe all the way down into your stomach, and notice your stomach rising as you're breathing in and falling as you're breathing out. When we do this, we can start to relax even more. With your eyes closed, just imagine walking into your kitchen, and on the side, on the worktop in your kitchen, I'd like you to imagine that there's a nice juicy orange. And taking that orange, safely placing it on a chopping board, safely taking a knife. I'd like you to just imagine cutting that orange in half. As you cut that orange in half, all those juices are flowing out and they're flowing down onto the chopping board. And then cut that half in half again. All the time those juices are just flowing out of that orange. You want to cut it down again so you got a nice bite-sized chunk, you can do that. Just imagine lifting that slice of orange up to your face and biting down. All those juices running out of that orange, running down your cheeks, dripping off your chin. Now when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the present, and let me know in the chat box if you experienced your mouth watering when you were imagining that? You pictured a watermelon. I suppose it works with watermelons. Yes, you could smell it as well. Excellent. Okay. Cool. Okay, so just settle back. To start with, I'd like you to keep your eyes open and just find a spot. It could be on the ceiling or out on the wall in front of you. Just a place of interest. It could be where the wall meets the ceiling. Just focus your eyes on that spot. As you focus on that spot, I'd like you to continue breathing all the way down into your stomach. There's your stomach rising as you're breathing in and falling as you breathe out. All the time, just keeping your eyes focused on that spot. And at some point, you're going to notice those eyelids feeling heavier, feeling like they want to close down. When that happens, you can allow those eyes to close as if all by themselves. As you continue breathing deep. If any thoughts should come into your mind, you can just notice them. Imagine them drifting by, clouds in the sky. As those eyelids become heavier, heavier. You may wonder if that blink was slower than the previous blink. You may start to notice yourself drifting, just listening to the sound of my voice. Any other sound you hear can just allow you to become more and more relaxed, more and more at ease. Maybe you can imagine that relaxation flowing down from the top of your head to the very tips of your toes, like a wave. Those eyelids just become heavier, heavier. Maybe you can imagine tiny muscles in your forehead just releasing, flattening, letting go. So that relaxation flows down into your cheeks, down your face, into your jaw, flowing down, drifting deeper, deeper. With your eyes closed, you can allow yourself to experience even more relaxation, feeling even more comfort. Maybe you can imagine yourself just letting go of any stresses and strain. Just noticing the air flowing in, flowing out. Maybe you can notice the difference between those breaths. Maybe the in-breath is slightly cooler than the out-breath. That's allowing yourself to drift and dream. Conscious mind needn't mind as your unconscious takes more control. And in a moment, I'm going to count backwards from 10 down to 1. As I'm counting backwards, I'm going to be counting the other from 1 to 10. And once I've counted down from 10 to 1, you can allow your conscious mind to completely relax and let go. Once I've counted up from 1 to 10, you can allow your unconscious to become more in control, more alert, more awake. So begin counting 10, 1, allowing that relaxation to flow down your body, flowing down your arms, into your hands. 9, 2, flowing down your legs, into your feet. Your unconscious mind is becoming more open, more aware. And you can really allow yourself to begin to let go. Because your unconscious really knows just how much to hold on, how much to let go. 8, 3, 7, 4. Maybe you can scan around your body. Find the most relaxed part. Just imagine spreading that relaxation out, releasing any tension as it comes. 6, 5. Your unconscious is always there, always looking to keep you safe. With the unconscious, you do all the most powerful things. The unconscious, you grow hair, nails. Your unconscious, you can make all the most powerful changes. You unconsciously change from baby to a child, from a child to an adult. So you really can change an unconscious level. You can consider all the changes you could make in your life. 5, 6, coming up the other way. 4, 7, all the times drifting, dreaming. 3 and 8, 2 and 9, 1. Your body is completely relaxed. I wonder if you can remember the most relaxed you've ever been. Maybe you can remember a special place of relaxation, calm, comfort. Maybe you can imagine in that place. But this place is a bit different now. There's no one else around. There's only you. In this place you can allow yourself to completely relax, let go. Maybe you can get a sense of this support there. Maybe you can get a sense of your body relaxing. Maybe you can wonder what it would be like to be safely, securely supported by a warm, fleecy cloud, looking down timeline. As you look down on your timeline, you can see happy memories, good times, maybe some not so happy memories, not so good times. Just looking down on that timeline, it's as though there's a barrier separating you from those memories. Something that's not allowing you to fully connect with those times. Maybe times when you've taken on that toxic shame. Maybe times when you've been bullied, felt bad. It could be as though there's, maybe you know when you have the radio on, but you're doing something else. Maybe driving, doing something around the house. It doesn't matter what's playing out on that radio, whether it's good, bad, you're just focused on what you're doing. Your conscious mind can be focused on relaxing right now. And your unconscious can begin to release, let go of any toxic shame, any negative memory. Maybe you can imagine sending lots of versions of you down to change those old memories. Maybe taking a younger version of you out of that situation. Maybe giving your younger self a special message, telling yourself it's okay. Just imagine that all the time, feeling calm and relaxed, comfortable, releasing, letting go. And your unconscious mind can give you a signal, can give you a sign that it's releasing that toxic shame. It could be a twitch of a finger or thumb, it could be a tiny muscle, arm, leg, it could be word, sound, something to let you know that it's releasing what it needs to release. Consider how your life could change if you could let go a little bit of toxic shit. Feel just a little bit more comfort. I wonder if you can picture yourself in those situations where you'd like to feel more comfort, more calm, more relaxed. Just picture yourself in them. What would you be doing differently? How would you feel? Maybe more assertive, happy. Really connect with that future version. See through their eyes. Feel what you feel. Just imagine yourself doing that. Connecting. Release anything that you need to release. Feeling confidence, assertiveness, feeling happier. Really picture yourself. And over the coming days and weeks, you can become aware of things, many things. These things can let you know things have begun to change, that you have begun to change. As you notice more and more of those things, you may find yourself just smiling, either there, now, noticing how good it feels. And in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the number 5, you can come back to the present, feeling refreshed and relaxed, noticing how good you feel. So begin counting. 1, allowing the sensations to return to your feet. Maybe you'd like to wiggle those toes. 2, that energy flowing up your legs, up your body, down your arms and into your hands. 3, maybe you'd like to wiggle those fingers. 4, and on the next number you can open your eyes, come back to the present, noticing how good you feel. 5, eyes open, wide awake. If you enjoyed that, let me know in the chat box. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Kay. Absolutely sensational. Feeling relaxed. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. So as I said, if you'd like to book a session with me or find out more about the 4-week Inner Child program, you can do so at the link I just placed in the chat box. Does anyone have any questions, anything you'd like to ask me? Please do so in the chat box. They could have been, Mandy. Yep. I don't recommend operating heavy machinery whilst experiencing hypnosis. Yes, I do it on Zoom. Yep, absolutely. So you can just go to my site, book a time. It will create a Zoom call, and yeah, you can schedule a Zoom call with me via my site. Just looking at the questions. One moment. Will you find strong progress from it? Well, I hope you do. You know, as I say, I have a 4-week program, which if you want to experience more progress, you know, you can discuss that with me. One moment, I'm just looking at the questions. Yeah, if anyone has any questions they want to send me on Meetup, that's fine. Oh, sorry to hear that, Fiona. No, it's not on my website, no. But if you want to know about it, you can book a time there. I will tell you all about it. I will tell you all about it on a Zoom call. Yes, it will. On the program, we're going to be doing lots of exercises, writing letters to the inner child, writing letters from the inner child. We're going to be covering all sorts of stuff. Also, when I do the hypnosis sessions, I suggest things to help you to integrate them into your life. Excellent. Thank you, Fiona. So does anyone have any questions at all about narcissism, inner child, toxic shame, anything you'd like to ask me on that regard, anything to do with hypnosis? Just let me know. So no one has any questions. No, you have control in trance. You have control in trance. You're, as I said, your unconscious mind is always in control. So there's been studies that have shown that when someone's in hypnosis, they're actually more alert and more in control than when they're, conscious. Suppressed anger. Anger is part of the anger is part of the healing process. So as we, start to heal ourselves, as we start to value ourselves more, to increase self-esteem, we can, experience a lot of anger coming up. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yep, you can get in touch with me with regards to anything, Gabrielle. Yep. It's a 1 hour session, so if you go to that link there, you should only be able to book a 1 hour session. So I think it's called initial session, and the 20-minute one is an initial consultation. So whichever one you want. If you just want to ask me some questions, you can like I say, if you just want to ask me some questions, you can do the 20 minutes. Or if you have longer and you want to speak to me more, you can do a 1 hour session. Sometimes on the free 1 hour sessions, I do a little bit of hypnosis. Depends on how I'm feeling and if I think it will be beneficial for you. Any other questions, let me know. Thank you, Carol. Does anyone on YouTube have any questions? Let me know. Thank you, everyone. No one on YouTube has any questions. Okay, so if no one else has any questions, anything else you'd like to know, as I said, there's the link again to book a free session. Do I have qualifications in hypnosis? Yes, I have several qualifications in hypnosis. I did a diploma in hypnosis, done GHSC accredited courses in hypnosis. I've done advanced Ericksonian courses in hypnosis. I'm a member of the UK Guild of Hypnosis Practitioners. I'm also fully insured. Also done courses and have qualifications in psychotherapy, CBT, and NLP. Thank you. Thank you for your question. I like it when people ask me questions. So, anyone else has anything else you'd like to know? Thank you, Kay. Yep, on my website it does. Okay, so if no one else, I do, Alex. I do have. I'm feeling good, thank you, Kay. Just go to the link that I put in the chat box. Just there. Book a session with me, a free session, and I'll tell you more about it. The price is, if you come on one of these calls and you book the free session, you can get it for the £59 price. So yeah, I've heard that before. Thank you, Jason. Okay, so if no one else has any other questions, I should say thank you all for coming. As I said, if you want to message me on Meetup, you can do so there. If you want to book a session with me and chat to me via Zoom, you can do so in the link. I don't generally work with children, but yeah, if you want to chat to me about it, as I said, feel free to book a call. Can we have an informal group chat about emotions? How do you mean, Carol? On the 4-week program, we will be covering emotions. I might do a workshop on emotions. I'm thinking to do some more workshops, create some more workshops. So one on, reconnecting with emotions, emotional intelligence. That could be one of the things I do. Okay, so if no one else has any other questions, nothing else you'd like to know, I shall say thank you all for coming.